Hey guys, Jason Creel. I want to speak to a specific group of people today about taking advantage of an opportunity to make more money, and that is teenagers. And so when I think back to how I spent my teenage years and how so many people do now, it's such a missed opportunity to capitalize on being able to make a lot of money when you don't really have necessarily a lot of payments. So many teenagers living with their parents and very minimal expenses, and yes, you have school or whatever you're doing, but there's free time there and where you could make a lot of money. And so here's what I want to talk to you about today. Whether I'm particularly in the lawn care business, and so I'm going to speak a lot directly to starting a lawn care business as a teenager, but you could really apply this to anything you enjoy doing. For instance, I have a friend and he has a daughter, teenager, loves gymnastics, and so she started training people for gymnastics out of their basement. So a situation where you charge a low hourly rate, but you do it as group settings. And so whether you charge $5 or $10 for an hour, but if you had 6 people coming to that class, well, you look at what that can pay for an hour rate, and that's just something small, but something to do on the side. So most teenagers, it seems like the problem is if they want to work, they go get a job, and there's not a lot of opportunity out there for a teenager. And so what I'm pushing you to is create the opportunity. So if you go and get a job at a fast food restaurant or a low entry level, no experience job, let's just say you make $10 an hour. Unfortunately, a lot of them are going to pay less than that. But when I was a teenager in high school, I didn't work during the school year, but in the summers I'd work at a wastewater treatment plant. So sewage treatment, okay, not exactly ideal. And this, I'm in my 30s now, so it's been a little while, but I was making $6 and something an hour. I think eventually I got up in the 7s. You work a whole week, 40 hours a week, you're bringing home like $200 some for the week, okay? Every 2 weeks, you get a paycheck, $400 some. Now, okay, let's say you make $10 an hour for a 40-hour work week. That's $400 before taxes. Let's think about owning your own business, and this goes the same. I mean, this is applicable to adults as well, but for teenagers, and I'm going to speak to the lawn care business specifically, but if you want to get started in lawn care, and I spoke with a friend yesterday who started when he was 16. Okay, and I said, how'd you get going? I mean, tell me about it. How did you, he said, well, I got my first customers when I was 16. He said, my mom helped me get my first push mower. And then a few years later, I ended up, upgrading to a zero-turn mower. He said he financed. His mom helped him get the credit to finance it. He made double payments to pay that off, and he's off and running, been doing well ever since. He's in his early to mid-20s now and got a very successful business. But I've seen over and over where high schoolers start a lawn care business, and you don't have to necessarily go huge with this to blow away the amount of money you would work in a normal job. I mean, like I said, if you're working fast food, and let's say on the high side you're going to make $10 an hour, and you're working part-time, you're working 20 hours a week. I mean, it'd be hard to work much more than that if you're while in school. In the summer, maybe you could work more, but that's $200 if you work 20 hours a week, $10 an hour. That's before taxes. Okay, well, think about it for mowing lawns. I mean, and the thing about this is you don't necessarily, because you're young, have to charge a lesser price. I mean, you can. Some people do, and they're gonna want you to charge less. But I think if you present yourself like a real legitimate company, then you can charge the same price as a real legitimate company. And that's what I would encourage you to do, is go ahead, get your business license, make a professional looking business name, professional looking logo, present yourself and learn the skill, and then you can command the same prices that the other lawn care companies are charging. You know, so just working by yourself, starting out, if you didn't have a lot of money to invest in, if you just had a truck, okay, and you can pull this in the back of your truck, but a truck with a push mower, a blower, and a string trimmer, and if you want to, you can get an edger, or you can learn how to edge with your string trimmer. But that's basically it. I mean, and let me just tell you, you could go get a Honda push mower, $300 to $400, you know, or well, probably actually more $400 to $500 to get a pretty decent Honda push mower. And you don't have to, but I'm just saying that's a good quality brand, and you could get another mower with a Honda engine on it. You get a Husqvarna. I use a 525 LS, which is a little bit nicer trimmer, but you could get the 223 Husqvarna string trimmer. They're barely over $200. Would be very adequate to get you going. And a blower. I mean, you can go get a handheld blower if you want to. That's not as good. I use a Red Max 5150, which is sort of a small to mid-size backpack blower. That's a little over $300. So, you know, basically what I'm saying is for a little over $1,000, somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500, not counting your vehicle. You know, you got to have a vehicle. You could get the equipment you need. And you say, well, I don't have that kind of money laying around, whatever, you know. Well, you could talk to your parents or someone who you know, just say, hey, you know, I really want to get going and start my own business. I want to, you know, would y'all mind loaning me the money up front, and I'll make sure that I pay that back, and you just work hard to pay it back. So you could get going that way, or perhaps, you know, I know some people, they do it this way. You know, their family has a zero-turn mower they cut their own property with, and they might work out a deal where they don't necessarily have to buy a new mower. They use that one and sort of, you know, maybe their parents let them use it, or they halfway rent it from them, so pay them a little bit for the use, keep the gas in it, keep the maintenance done on it. So there's other ways to go about getting equipment to make this thing happen, but the financial opportunity, you know, to me, even on the sort of the low end, working by yourself. I mean, when I say low end in lawn care, you're talking $40 an hour, but that is definitely the low end, working by yourself, pushing yards. But you know, it's very common for people to make $50 to $60 an hour as a one-man operation in lawn care. And so if you got a push mower, you know, focus on those smaller yards that are not going to take so much time. You don't want to get out there pushing a 2-acre yard. You'll be, you know, not making a lot of money that way. But as you grow, I mean, you're talking about going and cutting 2 lawns after school. Okay, $50 lawns. That's not unusual at all. So you made $100 right after school. I mean, where if you went and working, you know, a $10 an hour job, worked an 8-hour day, you made $80. Okay, it's 2 hours to make 100, 8 hours to make 80. It's no comparison. And as you think, well, I could just do, you know, have a little bit and try to ramp it up during the summer. And I'm telling you that there's high schoolers who can build a successful lawn business, and even while they're in school, you can hire an employee and have your employee, you know, doing the work. You could go hop on the crew with them after school. But you can really build a legitimate big-time lawn business making some serious money. So, and like I said, you could apply this to other fields. I'm most familiar with lawn care business. So, you know, check this out. I'm going to put some links in the description of this video to help you get started. You can subscribe to this channel if this is something you're interested in. I have over 250 lawn care videos helping people get started. But there's some links that give you some helpful information, other videos about equipment, marketing, how you get going. But it's the opportunities there. You can learn a lot about business without taking on a lot of risk. And there's so many people out there who do this, pay their way through college, and some of them are making so much money by the end of college they end up just staying in the lawn care field. Or maybe you even pursue a field of study in lawn care, you know, something in the green industry to, you know, you enjoy it so much and you think, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this and get a degree in this and really ramp up my business. Maybe down the road you get into landscaping, you get into weed control, fertilization, you do, you know, whatever other areas you want to get into, there's huge opportunities in the lawn care business, and it is a massively growing industry. So anyway, hope this inspires you a little bit. Don't settle like I did. I mean, I worked at fast food restaurant, I worked at the wastewater treatment plant, I worked on a side job for a lady one time for $5 an hour. I mean, that, you know, that was maybe 20 years ago, but it's just, don't settle. You can do it as a young person, but you got to have that go-getter attitude. You've got to get out there and market yourself, but when you do it, I mean, the absolutely no comparison in the amount of money you can make working for yourself, and you can build something you'd be proud of, as opposed for just going and getting some hourly position, making literally, you know, a couple $100 a week working full time. Yeah, it's just no comparison. So anyway, check out the link, subscribe if you want more information, and hope this inspires some of you. Thanks.